watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Let's now speak to Senator Gatchalian. Senator, thank you for waiting. Pasensya na po, pareho ata nating naramdaman yung earthquake.
Oo nga eh. Good morning, Pinky. Thank you for inviting me. Medyo lakas yung earthquake a minute ago. But thank you.
Yeah, that jolted me a bit. Well, at least you're fine. We're both fine. I think we're both pretty much in the same area. So, sir, let's begin the conversation. I first wanted to get your reaction doon po na nandito na yung meron na po tayong dalawang case ng variant from India.
Correct. This is a case of concern, no? A cause of concern and a case for us to take seriously. Because learning from the past, Pinky, if you remember last February, the various variants came into our country. And these variants were very contagious. In fact, we felt it on the ground. And we have to take this seriously. These variants were related to the fast-paced spread in India. And we have to make sure that we contain it as fast as possible.
Yeah, but here's the thing, no, Senator? Yung pong dalawang cases na nahanap ay galing sa Middle East. We're not even talking about the passengers who have had travel history in India, who had arrived from India or dumaan sa India. Hindi pa po yun. These are two seafarers who actually arrived from Oman and the United Arab Emirates.
This is a very unique situation for the Philippines, for our country. Because we have 10 million Filipinos abroad, and majority of our OFWs have contracts that end 6 months. Seafarers will end probably 1 year, and they have to come back to our country.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult decision and balancing act because we cannot just shut our borders immediately, no? Because we have OFWs coming in, and I've seen scenarios wherein our OFW stuck in the embassy, and the embassy gets infected. So we have to tighten our quarantine procedures here in our country. So meaning tighten the traveling procedures coming into our country. And once our OFWs come into our country, make sure that they undergo very strict quarantine and monitoring. In my opinion, we cannot take this variance lightly because we've seen the contagiousness or the increased speed of infection with these new variants.
Yeah. There's also the possible decision whether NCR Plus bubble will move into a more lenient GCQ from MECQ. Ano po? What are your thoughts? Kailangan na ho bang maging mas lenient, mas magbukas pa po ng mga industriya? Because that ends sometime on May 14.
Pinky, yesterday I was at the briefing of NEDA and PSA, and our economy shrank by 4.2%. And in that briefing, it's very clear that our economy is correlated with the quarantine levels that we put in place. So, for example, if it's stricter quarantine levels, definitely our economy will contract. If we loosen it up, our economy will expand. So it's directly correlated. So yesterday, to be honest about it, after the briefing of NEDA and PSA, my initial thoughts is to go back to GCQ, because the more we loosen it up, the more we will grow and the more jobs we will create. However, that thought changed when I saw the new variants or the double variants they call landed in our shores. And again, going back to our experience last February and March, these variants can be the cause of increased pace of infection in our communities. And I would recommend to extend the MECQ until the end of the month, until we contain this double variant that came into our shores.
So extend muna tayo now that this news came up yesterday na pagpasok ng Indian variant here in the country. And of course, sir, meron pa pong chine-check yung doon po sa container vessel that came from India and passed through a number of Southeast Asian countries.
Yes. Pinky, actually, one of the learnings that we all learned in the past is gatherings, eatings, and get-togethers are the catalyst for infections. That's why in this new version of ECQ, we allowed almost everything except for gatherings, eatings, and get-togethers. And you can see the immediate effect. Our reproduction rate went down, the number of cases went down, the attack rate, another metrics that they use, went down. But more importantly, the occupancy of our hospitals also went down. So meaning we have space now for hospitals and ICU beds. So we can see that we have calibrated the quarantine levels. So in other words, the dining in and gatherings are known as catalysts for infections. And we need to keep this shut for now, because of these new variants.
We're going to talk about the West Philippine Sea and a proposal, this you got to hear, pushing for tax deductions for employees working from home. Senator Webb Gatchalian will still be with us after the break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines.
Art can be an instrument for social and political change. There are inescapable reasons to paint Mindanao culture, history, and even social issues.
Muslim Mindanao has a different side to it. It's not just terrorism and violence and all those things. I wanted to show that people there eat as well, just as everybody else. And we do it in a certain way that's also delicious, that other people can relate to also.
Next time on The Final Pitch, we take you on a tour inside the Thames International Business School campus. And day 3 of the pitches continues.
Together, we want to make fitness easy and fun for everyone. We're going to show you a little bit of what our workout's all about. Side to side. Ready? Don't worry. Here we go.
Your valuation is now going down.
It's going to go up. The TV viewership, rise up. 3, 2, 1, go!
You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Senator Webb Gatchalian. Senator, wanted to get your quick reaction on the president about this campaign promise of his regarding jet skiing to the Spratlys. He said it was only a joke. Ang tawag nga po niya dito, bravado, during the campaign. While you have colleagues who say that, well, the Senate president says, he knew it was a joke, but you have Senator Ping Lacson saying sometimes it's hard to determine whether the president is joking or not. Did you see this as a joke when the president mentioned this during the campaign, the presidential campaign?
Well, Pinky, I want to go beyond the jet skis and beyond the bickerings that is happening around the West Philippine Sea. The West Philippine Sea is part of the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines. We have jurisdiction over that area. And more importantly, we have rights to explore and to exploit the natural resources in that area. People might not know this, but there's enough oil and gas there to power our economy for the next 700 years because of its rich natural resources. I've been tracking down this resource for the past few years, and it's really needed to, those resources are really needed to make sure that economy. So in other words, we should explore and take advantage of the natural resources there. But having said that, it's very difficult for me to predict what's in the mind of our president. But what's certain for me are the actions. And the statements of our DFA secretary and the statements of our DND secretary are very loud and clear. It's in our exclusive economic zones. And these are the most trusted people of the president. So in other words, we are asserting our rights in that exclusive economic zone. And it's very clear to me that the country is asserting our arbitral award.
Okay, so then let me do a follow-up on that just very quickly, because Senior Associate Justice, retired Senior Associate Justice Carpio was saying that to be able to do that, the president should do the following: say that China has no, and well, you take back what he said, that the arbitral ruling is just a piece of paper that should be thrown in the wastebasket, and that China is in possession of the West Philippine Sea. Do you agree, sir, that this has to be taken back? Because in a way, whatever the president says becomes the policy, a government policy.
For me, Pinky, and this is my own analysis, no, this is a difference in strategy. No, some quarters will have a different approach on the West Philippine Sea. Obviously, the president and his team, no, I call it team, no, because they're acting in unison in my analysis. They might come up in different degree, but in my opinion and analysis, there is a certain direction in their actions. And one of the most compelling statements of the president when he addressed the UN General Assembly last year, wherein he said that the arbitral ruling cannot be diminished. No government, even after his administration, can diminish the value of the arbitral ruling. So, in other words, the president recognizes this, and the president recognizes the importance of the arbitral award.
Are you saying that you are satisfied with how government is dealing with the issue in the West Philippine Sea amidst these incursions from China?
Pinky, what's important for me is we assert our rights and jurisdiction in that area. And one of the most compelling visuals and optics that I've seen lately was the assertion of our Philippine Coast Guard. Our Philippine Coast Guard was there patrolling. In fact, one of our lady Coast Guard made that warning. No? She the
radio challenge.
The challenge and the warning against the incursions there in the West Philippine Sea. So my point of the matter here is the actions are loud to me, no? And the actions something that we can see. And this is what's very important to me. In my opinion, it's a difference in strategy, but the direction is there. The president said that the ruling will not be diminished, it will not be thrown away. And then there are actions from our government agencies in terms of protecting and asserting our jurisdiction in our exclusive economic zone.
Yeah, so in summary, you're satisfied, Senator?
It's a balancing act. And so far, I am seeing what the president have said in the UNGA. And that UNGA is being translated to action, and that statement is being echoed by his alter egos in the DFA and also in the DND. So it's a balancing act. No? There are things that we can improve, definitely. No? There are things that we can improve in terms of asserting, in terms of exerting, but that's a matter of strategy.
Okay, Senator, I need to shift topics. Ano po? Ito pong plano ninyo, proposal to reduce a reduction in tax for work from home employees. Could you please briefly tell us more about this? Papaano ho makikinabang yung mga empleyado na nagtatrabaho sa kanilang mga bahay?
I'll keep this very simple, no? And I'll be away from the complexities of the proposal. But basically, a lot of our constituents are working from home, no? And especially like here in the Senate, no, 50% of our workforce are mandated to work from home, but we're not giving them anything. No? Their telecommunication expenses went up, their DSL expenses went up. Of course, by staying at home, you have other expenses going up, like electricity and utilities. So in our proposal, those items that enable you to effectively work from home can be deducted from your income tax. So, for example, if the business owner or your principal are not inclined to support you with those amenities, you can claim this from government. So, in a nutshell, it will encourage people to work from home, and it will not be a burden for them.
All right, Senator Gatchalian, sir, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Vicky, and stay safe from the earthquake
Sir,
also.
yeah, I was just gonna say, stay safe because there could be aftershocks, and I will report this breaking news just now. Maraming salamat, Senator Gatchalian. Before we go, here's our breaking news, which is actually, it was a magnitude 5.8 earthquake that hit Abra de Ilog in Occidental Mindoro. PHIVOX recorded the tremor at 9:09 this morning, and the tremor was felt even in parts of Metro Manila. Netizens say they also felt it in Batangas, Tagaytay, and even Bataan. PHIVOX warns there could be still some aftershocks, and stay tuned to CNN Philippines for more on this breaking news story. Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.